brand new, I'm Suzette Speaks. I'm an attorney and local activist and a person who cares about her community. I love to get into hot topics, big news stories, news you can use, you name it. I'm overflowing these days with news topics, and we're going to get into it. Welcome, first of all, if you are watching on the app or listening on the app, big up yourself. If you didn't know, we have an app. Now you know Voice of the Caribbean is an app in your app store. Visit your Apple Play, excuse me, here we go, Apple Store or Google Play, and download the app. Take us wherever you go. We play the best in Caribbean music. We also have a wonderful lineup for today. Today is Friday. We call it Fire Fridays around here. The hottest mixes. The vibes will be up. Let me tell you. Later, don't worry. We got you. If you are looking forward to a wonderful weekend, it's supposed to be great. The weather down south here. Remember, spring break is happening. Spring break is upon us. I just talked to my little cousin who goes to FIU, Florida International University. I'm like, are you here? She's like, no, I'm coming tomorrow. She'll be here on Saturday. So if you're going to the beaches, beware. We will have some company because, of course, we want everybody to practice safety, spring break safety. Can you believe it already? It's like the season has started quickly. It seems like spring break to me is earlier, much earlier than normal. But yes, different colleges, different schools have started the spring break. We're also going to talk a little hot topics. The biggest news story right now is that the Supreme Court has apparently struck down President Trump's tariffs. What does this mean? I got to put on my legal hat today. Does that mean that we are going to have lower prices? Oh my goodness. Does that mean that things are going to go back to normal? Well, according to the Associated Press, an article just published hot off the presses, the Supreme Court strikes down Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs, upending the central plank of his economic agenda. The tariffs, they're saying President Trump did not have the legal authority to implement. All we've been hearing about over the last year plus is about tariffs. But the Supreme Court today, according to the Associated Press, reporting out of Washington, D.C., the Supreme Court has struck down President Donald Trump's far-reaching global tariffs as of today on Friday, handing him a significant loss on an issue crucial to his economic agenda. Once again, the Supreme Court, breaking news right here, Voice of the Caribbean telling you first. The tariffs, the Supreme Court is letting you know right here on the Suzette Speak Show, this just happened. The Supreme Court of the United States, the highest court in the land, the decision, or supposed to be, the buck stops with them to interpret the law. Well, according to the Associated Press, in an article that just was published just a few minutes ago, the Supreme Court struck down President Donald Trump's far-reaching global tariffs today, handing him a significant loss on an issue crucial to his economic agenda in a vote of 6-3 on the Supreme Court. Remember, there are 9 United States Supreme Court justices, including 1 Chief Justice. So the total amount on the court right now is 9. So the decision was 6-3. In the majority, there were 6 people. In the minority of the court, there was 3 that went against it. Well, in the 6-3 decision on tariffs that Mr. Trump imposed under an emergency powers law, including what he was calling the reciprocal tariffs, he levied on nearly every other country. Well, it's the first major piece of Trump's broad agenda to come squarely before the nation's high court, according to the Associated Press, which he helped shape with the appointments of 3 conservative jurists in his first term. So remember, 3 of the 9 members of the Supreme Court were appointed by Donald Trump during his first term. So there are 3 Trump appointees out of the 9 that are voting on the Supreme Court. But in a breaking with the Trump administration, the majority of the court, the United States Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, the majority has found that it's unconstitutional for the President of the United States to unilaterally set and change tariffs because taxation power clearly belongs to Congress. Can I tell you again? This is a huge upending of the Trump administration's agenda. Remember, since we have seen Donald Trump return in his second term, all we've been hearing about is tariffs. If the other countries don't cooperate, I'm going to do tariffs. I'm going to put up the prices on their import tax. But we have learned that it does not impact the importer. It impacts the importee, not the person sending, but the person buying. So once you have to, as the folks who buy the goods from manufacturers and sellers overseas, it is then the importee, the people who are the buyers, who end up increasing prices on the folks that live here in the United States. Hence why we have been seeing such a rise in our prices over the last year during the Trump administration. Now, according to the Associated Press, in an article just published today, the majority of the Supreme Court found that it is unconstitutional for the President of the United States to unilaterally set and change tariffs because taxation power belongs to Congress. That's the legislative branch. Remember, we have three branches of government. The president is the executive. We have the legislative who creates the laws. We remember the president is supposed to enforce the laws, but it is Congress, the House of Representatives, and the United States Senate. Those two chambers together are called Congress. It is Congress who creates the laws. It is Congress who has the power of spending, which we call the power of the purse. How to spend your money goes through Congress. It takes an act of legislation, right? Passing a law. That's how money gets spent in the United States system. Well, we've been hearing all about these tariffs. Now the Supreme Court has turned a new leaf in the Trump agenda because the majority found that it is unconstitutional for the President of the United States to unilaterally set and change tariffs because taxation power clearly belongs to Congress. Now, in the opinion, Chief Justice John Roberts wrote, quote, "The framers did not vest any part of the taxing power in the executive branch." Remember, the executive branch is the president. He's supposed to enforce the laws, not create laws, right? And definitely not break laws, because remember, it is the United States Supreme Court who interprets whether the laws are being applied properly. While we are seeing this breaking news, we are remembering the search for Nancy Guthrie continues. What is going on? Day 20. Savannah Guthrie, the Today Show host, mother, the 84-year-old who went missing 20 days ago. Where is Nancy Guthrie? If you follow me, and if you go in my stories on Instagram, I had to post something. I don't think it's a laughing matter. I've seen a lot of people with kind of weird jokes like, what is going on with this investigation? Shout out to everybody watching me on the YouTube side. Big up Mandrell, Wagwan. Hey, Pastor Damon Blissett online. If you want to see what we got going on in the studio, you can always visit voiceofthecaribbean.com, or you can visit me, Suzette Speaks, on YouTube. Follow me, right? Please give me a follow on YouTube, right? Hit the like button for everybody watching. Thank you guys for watching as well as listening. So anyway, this is the breaking news. I do want to get back to Prince Andrew because I was talking to my cousin about it yesterday. Now, Prince Andrew has since been released after his 8 a.m. arrest yesterday without notice. Now, the British system, now I got to break this down. I was listening to some commentators to kind of get a feel for how different the British criminal system and their process of issuing justice, right, is from the American system, because there are some differences, right? They are held under what they call caution. Basically, it's almost similar to when we are arrested in the United States and a person is waiting for what they say arraignment, which is the reading of your charges, telling you what your charges are. But it looks like in this particular case, and I'm not a lawyer in London, I'm not a barrister, right? I was just listening to try to give some context to it for our listeners. But it looks like when you get arrested in the UK, they can hold you for up to 4 days. Now, he was held for 11 hours. I'm listening to some British barristers, lawyers there, right? They call them barristers. And they're saying that was actually pretty short for the nature of this case. They can hold you in England under their system of law for 24 hours to 4 days for questioning. But in his case, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, formerly known as Prince Andrew, remember, The royal family had already taken away his title. And he is in trouble. I saw the picture. Did you guys see the picture of him rolling out in the SUV from the law enforcement headquarters or wherever he was being questioned? Boy, he would lay that. Whoever told him, this is why you need people who are going to tell you the truth. He laid in that back seat. I don't think he thought people would grab a picture. But let me tell you, those UK paparazzi. Let me sip some of my tea, boy. We getting the tea is hot today. Suzette Speaks Live. I'm drinking my green tea, y'all. Piping hot. Because this UK arrest, or this arrest in the UK of a royal, right, a member of the royal family, the brother of the king. There were questions being asked. Is the law equally applied to everyone, or do people get special treatment? What do you think? Do you think this will have any impact on what happens here in the United States with all the other people that are being mentioned, not only mentioned, but incriminated by the emails in the Epstein files? The people whose names been blocked out when some of the emails have been very, very suspect. Do you think this is the first domino to fall? Well, this is the Suzette Speak Show, y'all. I got to take a quick pause for the cause. Don't go anywhere. We got a lot more hot topics right after this. Keep it locked.
The all-new voice of the Caribbean. Better sounding radio. WLYF HD2 Miami, 101.5 HD2.
When you're craving authentic Caribbean flavor, there's only one stop you need to make. Express Restaurant and Lounge, formerly Top Chef, in North Lauderdale. From slow-cooked oxtail, smoky jerk chicken, rich curry chicken, and curry goat with coconut-scented jasmine rice, to stew peas, rasta pasta, salmon over pasta, shrimp scampi, and wings your way. Honey barbecue, jerk, lemon pepper, hot and spicy, or Cajun.
Studio.
And don't forget, Thursdays are for seafood. Cajun shrimp, fried shrimp, curry shrimp, jerk.
I have a view of everybody. We have like a bunch of cameras in the studio. So I see somebody sitting out there.
7 days a week. Express Restaurant
Two
and
people.
Lounge, 1401
So I'm always curious as to who else is here but me. But anyway, how's your Friday going? I have to talk about. Let me turn that down before I get copyright stricken. I gotta talk about my event. And I gotta talk about my Black History Month fact. I was gonna do Dr. Sis Trunk. And there's also a person who died today that is a Black History Month hero. Oh my gosh, I saw it on Instagram. I wanted to do a Black History Month highlight. Can I Google what Black History hero died today? There was somebody that died today that I wanted to highlight. Okay, of course, Reverend Jesse Jackson, but that's not who I'm thinking about. Not Jesse Jackson. Tribute to Black History hero, not Jesse Jackson. When is Jesse Jackson's funeral? 31 Black, everybody should know. That was 2023. Claudette Colvin, teen civil rights hero, died at 86. No, she died in January. There was some who Black History died today. Just say who. I can't find. It was a man that died today. He had to do with Louisiana civil rights. Louisiana civil rights hero. Louisiana civil rights. I saw it on Instagram, so I wanted to highlight Norman C. Francis is who I want to say. Legendary Louisiana civil rights pioneer, educator, and Medal of Freedom recipient, passed away just Wednesday this week at 94 years old. He was a longtime president of Xavier College of Louisiana and led the Louisiana recovery through it after Katrina as a black and lay president, as first black and lay so do you have to Xavier, lay, meaning not a preacher. I didn't know that. All right. Civil rights law. He was towering figure in the movement and advised 8 U.S. presidents. He stood in the breach to lead the state's recovery of initiating Katrina in 2052. Okay, so we got. I want to talk about him too, Francis, Dr. Norman C. Francis, but I also want to talk about Dr. James Franklin Sistrunk, pioneering Black physician in Fort Lauderdale, recognized as a doctor, first black doctor in Broward County. He also co-founded the city's first hospital for black patients, Providence Hospital, in 1938, and delivered over 5,000 babies. Wow. Which is his Trunk Boulevard name in his honor. Okay, we'll talk about two doctors. All right. I got my event. What else I want to talk about? I want to talk about Prince Andrew looking like a crazy person. The tariffs being overturned. Anything else what else should I talk about, guys? Let's see. I don't want to talk about ICE. 11 million visitors inside to continue tourism. Oh, we have a tourism slump. Well, might as not. We could talk about that. Tourism slump. Inside America is continuing to relate. Last year, the United States was the only major destination to see a decline in international travelers, with increased scrutiny at the border, ICE violence, and unpredictable. The new year isn't looking any better. This is published by who? New York Times. Okay, I can read this. Michelle Conway, London-based comedian, husband spent nearly 2 years planning 6 times vacation. Then the children was okay. We'll do some tourism in town. Oh yes, I gotta think that. Yes, good afternoon and welcome back. It's the Suzette Speak Show right here on Voice of the Caribbean Radio. How you doing? I hope you're having a blessed day so far. So much news always going on in the world. I wanted to talk a little bit of Olympics. I do the news rundown, basically. I try to give you the news you can use, the latest updates. It's looking kind of good now. Team USA, USA, USA is looking really good after some shakiness in the Winter Olympics in Milano Cortina in Italy. There have been some comeback stories. The young lady, I think her name is Alyssa Liu. I hope I got it right. She won in the figure skating. Go girl. And her story is incredible. She took some time off of the sport. She was like number one when she was like 13 or 14. Hopefully I get the age right, but I don't have the story right in front of me. But I remember reading it last night. But anyway, as a teenager, she rose to the top of the sport, decided to quit, decided to let it go, was tired of it, wanted to break, whatever, wanted to pursue other passions, and then came back to the sport. And now, still a teenager, I believe, she is now crowned number one in the U.S. women's, in the international figure skating world. She represents the United States in figure skating and put on a very spunky final skate, and she was being cheered on by all of Team USA. There have been some wonderful stories. Like I told you, we had a rough start. Congratulations also to, I think her name is Brittany Bowe. She's a 2-time Olympic medalist now on her journey. There's so many, and that I forget the athlete who is hearing impaired, or her kids are hearing impaired, and she also won. There's some really great stories. I love the Olympics because they always provide such inspiration about human capabilities, right? Or compassion, the stories of overcoming trials, the abilities that we have sometimes to dig deep and go for the goal, the pressure also, the way sometimes we do fall under pressure. There's so many human stories, right? And the beauty of the human spirit is always, to me, something that I take away from watching some of the Olympics. So Milan Cortina continues until Sunday. Sunday is the final day of the Winter Olympics. Will you be watching the United States? Congratulations, United States women's hockey. And I didn't see it. I hope they play it a replay, or I could watch it on YouTube somewhere. Team USA has just also chosen their flag bearers for the closing ceremonies, which will take place tomorrow in Milan, Italy. And the new location, I guess, is announced. But watching them, they said the United States versus Canada women's hockey match. I didn't watch it live, but they said it was incredibly competitive. It was 1-1 at the close of the regulation. And then in overtime, the United States scored an incredible go-ahead goal to win the gold medal. Shout out to the United States lady hockey team. And I want to say like Lady Eagles, because anytime I had a high school team, we said like, the Lady Bears, but I guess it doesn't apply quite in the United States international arena. But you get what I'm saying, ladies hockey. Let's give it up for the ladies hockey team and all the incredible outcomes we're seeing in this year's Winter Olympics. It's been beautiful. And shout out to all, again, the Caribbean and African teams and the what they call the Global South teams that have shown up and showed out. They may have not all, won medals, but I think it's an incredible achievement just to be there, especially when you don't come from ice, when you don't come from snow, and you're there competing with some of the best in the world. Even if you end up in the top 50, shout out to you. Top 50 of all human beings, all how many billions of us doing, the hardest type of, sporting competition you could kind of conceive. And you are like top 10, 25, top 30. It's incredible to watch. So I want to give a shout out to all the athletes, every single person who dedicated 4 years of their life to show up on that moment. There's a lot of pressure. But shout out to all the competitors from around the world. Thank you for giving us these wonderful stories of inspiration. I also wanted to just let you know there's a trend going on. Did you know that according to the New York Times, last year, listen, the money, show me the money. Did you know that tourism is now down in the United States? Are we surprised? Well, according to the New York Times, in an article published today called 11 million visitors short. Inside America's continuing tourism slump. Uh-oh. Did y'all know this was published just now, 10 a.m. this morning in the New York Times? Last year, the United States was the only major destination to see a decline in international travelers. Why do you think that is? Anyone? Class? Anybody? Why do you think? What? In the back? What did you say? Why are people not coming? Guys, I'll tell you right after this break. We got to do a quick station identification.
The all-new voice of the Caribbean. Better sounding radio.
Hey, this your boy, comedian RJ, man. The Comedy Room is back. If you want to come out and have a great time on a Friday night, you already know where to go if you've been there before. And if
I don't want to get copyright.
Jeez. South State Road 7 in North Lauderdale. On the 441. This is the livest spot to come to and to get a vibe. It's a full venue that has food, bar, music, Caribbean style. I need all my Haitian people to come out. I need all my Jamaican people.
I gotta take a quick break, guys. Whoop, whoop. I want to change this camera a little bit, but I'm not gonna touch it. This camera. Scoop, scoop. All right, I'm gonna change it just a little. Wait. Sorry if I got my armpit. Sorry.
The voice of the Caribbean. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, and YouTube.
Yes, welcome back. It's the Suzette Speak Show. I was just giving you some of the latest breaking news. I like to bring you hot topics, social media trends, and of course, news you can use. Welcome to the family. If you're brand new here, I'm Suzette Speaks. I come to you live every Thursday and Friday. Today is a Fire Friday. This is my favorite day of the week, because the music we're going to get into later, trust and believe. When we say vibes, baby, we got the best DJs all throughout South Florida. Right, listen, I'm so hyped I can't even talk. The way I get down and the way I love to party. Yes, your girl is an attorney. Yes, your girl, is into politics and all that other stuff. But yeah, we know how to let loose too. I'm an island girl and at my heart. So trust and believe. What do you get into this weekend? I hope you find something fun to do. Of course, there's a lot of events. Tomorrow, I'm going to be at a more political event. There are some fundraisers I saw, as I told you yesterday, the race for Congressional District 20, right, currently held here for parts of Miami and parts of Broward County by the Congresswoman Sheila Shervlis McCormick. We have a couple of additions now to the race. Uncle Luke from Two Live Crew, y'all know Uncle Luke Campbell. My jury is still out because I want to see his platform, right? Is he serious about what he's saying? I know he's been an advocate for free speech, for most of his career, but what are some of the real issues that you're planning to tackle, and how do you plan to tackle them? Anyway, he announced just on Sunday, y'all say, Sue, let him get in the race, Sue, relax. Okay, but my eyes are on a fierce competitor, Dale Holness. He is our former colleague here. Not former. He can't be on the radio while he's running. There's some rules around that. But anyway, the former mayor of Broward County, former commissioner of Broward County, former commissioner of the city of Lauderhill, right? Mayor of Lauderhill. And he has been working hard. I know he has a couple of fundraisers coming up as well. And I'll give you some information before the end of the show on those, making news. And I heard there was a Haitian American. I'll look at it during the break. I know there was one other person of note that I really wanted to mention in that congressional district. Well, I was telling you before the break that the United States has a tourism problem. According to the New York Times, an article published today written by Ceylon Yeginsu. She entitled the article 11 million visitors short inside Americans' continuing tourism slump. America's continuing tourism slump. Last year, the United States was the only major destination to see a decline in international travelers. You hear what I'm saying? Why do you think? I was asking you before the break, class, why do you think the international travelers have been a little bit more sheepish? Don't want to come. 11 million. You know how much money that's attached to? Tourism is one of our biggest industries here in the United States. Well, according to this author, with increased scrutiny at the border, that's one. ICE violence and unpredictable policies, that's two. Well, according to said author from the New York Times, the new year isn't looking better. Now, listen, people spend a lot of money when they come to the United States. In this article written today, Michelle Cowley, they quote, profiling, I should say, highlighting a British couple named Michelle Cowley, a London-based communication specialist, and her husband spent nearly 2 years planning a $16,000 vacation to Walt Disney World in Florida. Their children, ages 7 and 11, heard about the deaths of Renee Good and Alex Preddy being killed by ICE agents, and their kids from England didn't want to go. This is the highlight of the news article in the New York Times, saying that this British-based family had been planning a huge trip to Walt Disney World with their kids, who are 7 and 11, saved up for 2 years, $16,000. Because let me tell you, them plane tickets ain't cheap. Come across the United States and spend their money here, especially in Florida, at Walt Disney World. And after reports of the death of Renee Good, that was in Minnesota. Remember the mom who was trying to back out her car and a man shot her in the face, a federal agent? And Mr. Alex Preddy, the nurse who was trying to protect another woman who was being pepper sprayed, who was laid out by federal agents on the side of the road. Well, after those two individuals were killed by ICE agents, the children from the UK, this family that's being profiled in this New York Times news story, did not want to come to the United States. And according to the article, comments by President Trump in January, including threats to annex Greenland and criticisms of British military contributions in Afghanistan, sealed the family's decision. This is according to this one British family being highlighted in the New York Times. Quote, "We have decided that it's really not the place where we want to be at the moment," said this mother, Miss Cowley. Last year, as tourism grew worldwide, the United States was the only major destination to see a decline in foreign visitors, recording a 6% drop according to the World Travel and Tourism Council, an industry group. January saw continued declines in inbound visitors, down 4.8% from January 2025. So just this year, January, you understand? The amount of, now there was already a decline last January, but compared to last January, this January is also down by 4.8%, according to the industry group World Travel and Tourism Council. Visits from Canada, usually the second largest source of U.S. tourism after Mexico, plunged, I agree with this, plunged 28% in January compared to January 2024. Now, this phenomenon in South Florida called the snowbirds. We are very familiar when cold, and especially up north, whether it's come from the northeast of the United States or whether it's coming from Canada, whether it's coming from Canada. There is always a presence. Depending on where you live, you see more than others. I notice when the Canadians are in town. I notice all the restaurants are more full. You look around, even going grocery shopping. Let me sip my green tea. Welcome, y'all. What's up? There we go. Grocery shopping. Let your girl live, y'all. Sometimes you get a little tongue-tied, but grocery shopping. I see my Canadians. I hear the French. Even when I walk some of the like my little nature trails by where I live, and I see the Canadians, I give them the bonjour, hi, and they smile with me. That's a hi, hello. So, and it acknowledges the French-speaking Canadians as well. Bonjour, hi. But I can't say nothing else after I get in that good bonjour, hi. But after that, I noticed that there has not been as many. I see a lot. But according to this one trade organization. Visits from Canada, usually the second largest group to visit United States. Right? The second largest group is our Canadian brothers and sisters to the north. After Mexico, it plunged 28% in January compared to January 2024. So remember, it already went down in 2025, but compared to the last real, if you will, number, 2024, it's been down. Woo! Other key markets like Germany and France also recorded significant declines, while Britain, the largest long-haul source market for the United States tourism, saw a marginal growth of 0.5% compared to the previous year. Well, I'm gonna leave it here. When 11 million international visitors aren't showing up, the result is billions of dollars in economic losses to the travel industry, said Eric Hansen, a senior vice president at the U.S. Travel Association, a trade group who promotes travel to and within the United States. Listen, do you think that trend is going to continue? 11 million less people, including, here in Florida. It's a $1 billion industry. Well, it's spring break, y'all. So if you're going to the beach, it's been gorgeous. Not a cloud in the sky. I worked out this morning just during sunrise. It was very clear, open skies. Our temperatures are in the 70s. Trust me, spring break has started, though. But we're going to get back to, I wanted to talk a little bit about PopCon before the break. PopCon. Well, I got to take this one more break, y'all. PopCon has been conferred a traditional title of chief during a Ghanaian ceremony. Big up PopCon, Andre Sadalan. More after this.
The all-new voice of the Caribbean. Better sounding radio. WLYF HD2 Miami, 101.5 HD2.
When you're craving authentic Caribbean flavor, there's only one stop you need to make. Express Restaurant and Lounge, formerly Top Chef in North Lauderdale. From slow-cooked oxtail, smoky jerk chicken, rich curry chicken.
Sometimes you just gotta go. I sweated out this morning, but I don't care.
To stew peas,
I'll straighten it.
pasta,
I'll straighten it this weekend. Anyway, weekend plans. I gotta plug my event.
Jerk, lemon pepper,
We gotta talk about Andrew Mountbatten. What else we gotta talk about? Andrew Mountbatten.
Cajun shrimp, fried shrimp, curry shrimp, jerk
PopCon.
shrimp,
Oh, Black History Month fat. Oh my God, this show go by so fast. That hour goes by so fast. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful weekend.
1401.
I almost want to stand up and stretch, y'all. I don't want y'all to see all my business. Hold this right here. Let me stand up. Ooh. Stretch, march in place. Stretch, march in place. Stretch. What's up? Trying to get that blood flow. Oh. Sorry, that's copyright. Trying to get my copyright. I'm trying to give myself a little decency, y'all. I just had to stand up and stretch. Not stress, stretch. Anyway, what y'all got going on the weekend? Hope you're having a beautiful day. Welcome if you're just joining me. I do my show every Thursday and Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. I might be doing it a little bit more often. I'll let you know if any changes come. And we are chatting about news. A couple of events coming up. Our radio station is having like a open mic night. I should plug it. Oh boy, they don't put nothing out no more. Oh yeah, pull up Wednesdays. Okay, good. I can read this, even though it's next Wednesday. Pull up Wednesday. Who is yelling? Somebody in here is yelling. Well, whatever. Am I talking loud? Somebody is talking really loud. Anyway, I had the most delicious breakfast this morning. Salad, eggs, and salmon mixed together, but it was like a really good salad. I'm just gonna tell y'all, the lady who made me my salad was like, do you eat like this all the time? Because I did an early morning workout and I was like, let me just get my breakfast right away. My salad, trying to eat at least something green every day during Lent. We'll see how this goes. Whew. We got there's a couple more commercials. They run on a lot more commercials, but that's good. That means we got good advertising. Yeah, so anyway, had a good breakfast. Drinking my green tea. Nice and warm, yay. Took my vitamins today. I feel good. Like, when you're having like a good day, you remember to do most of the good things for yourself. I feel good. I hope you guys are having a great day too. Hope you have a fantastic weekend. And let me do my Black History Month facts. I gotta do my Black History Month. I will not go without doing my Black History Month. So the people need to know There's a bad accident on I-95 Southern. So my station manager just texted me. Hopefully I don't lose you guys. There's a bad accident on I-95 southbound at Atlantic, and I'm stuck. Okay. Bad accident on I-95. Okay, that's my station program manager. So I'll announce it. And pull up Wednesdays. So traffic update first. When we come back, we're gonna play a little Mountain Windsor. I'm gonna talk about the two doctors for. Here we go.
The voice of the Caribbean. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, and YouTube.
Yes, good afternoon and welcome back. It's Suzette Speaks. How you doing? Happy Fire Friday, y'all. It's a beautiful day. Smile, give thanks, look up in the sky and say, yay, I'm glad I'm alive. We are so grateful to be living in Florida. Yes, it's warm today. Rest of the country, we got fires. Some places we got snow some places. Like, it's really crazy out there. So we can give thanks at least. If you can't find anything else, I gave thanks as I did my workout this morning, the movement of my body, being in a sound mind, being able to see, being able to hear, being able to talk, being able to breathe. Some things that we take for granted, we need to throw our head back and say, thank you, Lord, because trust and believe there are people right in your neighborhood struggling with things you would never even imagine. So the fact that you have life, the fact that you have strength in your body, the fact that you have clarity of mind, we have to give thanks. All right, so we're going to start out right? Okay, and we also want to do a quick traffic update. There is a bad accident on I-95 South at Atlantic Boulevard. So take caution if you are in your cars. You know, many people listen to us when they're on the highways and byways, but make sure you are careful if you are headed towards Atlantic Boulevard. There is a crazy accident, big slowdown there. So do take caution. I-95 South at Atlantic Boulevard. Please take caution, and we are getting reports of a bad accident there. Also, I'm not going to let today go by without my Doctor Black History Month segment. Doctor, let me tell you about two amazing doctors that you should know about. One just passed away 2 days ago. This Black History Month moment is brought to you by Pull Up Wednesdays. Did you know Voice of the Caribbean is now doing a highlight and showcase of local talent called Pull Up Wednesdays? Come on, pull up, show us your talent. Hey, if you can, buy out the bar, all of that. And that's going to be at the Express Lounge in North Lauderdale, 1401 South State Road 7. That's North Lauderdale. And if you want to come, we had a wonderful several acts. People who want to get on the radio, people who are talented. This is how, when they say your boss, this is how you get to, bigger platforms. And we know there's a lot of talent here in South Florida, and they're always not, getting paid by the big corporate station, but we are local, right? We are owned and operated. Oh, we're big time. We commercial, of course. We reach all the way from Key Largo, the Northern Keys, all the way to Jupiter and beyond. So we're here in the community, though. We are locally controlled, I would say. And we decide what we play. And we know there's a lot of talent out there, and we want you to pull up. So this Black History Month is brought to you by, once again, Pull Up Wednesday. Each and every Wednesday, come showcase your talent. Food and drinks on sale. Start time is 6:30 at the Express Lounge. Once again, that's every Wednesday, 1401 State Road 7, North Lauderdale, 1401 South State Road 7, North Lauderdale, 33068. For submissions, or if you have any questions, you can email us at info@voiceofthecaribbean.com. Come pull up. You say you can sing. You say you can rap. You say you can DJ. Let's go. We want to hear from our local talent. That's what it's all about. Radio still plays. We have such an important role. They say it's dying. No, it's not. We are still the eyes and the ears of the community. So we take that responsibility very seriously. And here we are providing a showcase platform, talent search, if you will, for local talent. So that's each and every Wednesday. All right, at the Express Lounge. We'll be judging and everything, y'all. It's a fun time. And we want to make sure we keep connected to our local artists. Again, you can call us 347-927-7858, 347-927-7858, or 949-0070954-999-0070, info@voiceofthecaribbean.com. Anyway, Black History Month 5, we want to pay respect to now an ancestor, Dr. Norman C. Francis, out of Louisiana, a legendary civil rights pioneer, educator, and Medal of Freedom recipient, just passed away on Wednesday, February 18th. I wasn't here. That's why I make sure I honor him now. He was 94 years old. He was a longtime president, first Black president of Xavier University. And he also headed out the Louisiana Recovery Authority was the name of it, Louisiana Recovery Authority, after Hurricane Katrina. When it was all the debacle going on, they asked this gentleman to step forward. Dr. Norman C. Francis, 94 years old, just passed away this week. As the first Black president of Xavier University in Louisiana, he transformed it for nearly 50 years into a powerhouse for medical education. Dr. Norman C. Francis was also a towering civil rights leader who advised 8 United States presidents, again, during Hurricane Katrina recovery, when everything was going crazy. They asked President Dr. Norman C. Francis to lead up, or what they call he stood in the breach to lead the state's reconstruction initiative following the 2005 Hurricane Katrina. Lots of tributes are being poured out to him. He's being called the conscience of the city of New Orleans. We recognize his leadership. We're going to bring it back to Florida. Another doctor you should know, Dr. Sistrunk. You guys know of the historic Sistrunk Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale, in the heart of the Black community. Why is it called Sistrunk Boulevard? Well, Dr. James Franklin Sistrunk was a pioneering Black physician and surgeon in Fort Lauderdale. He was recognized as the first Black doctor in Broward County. That's Fort Lauderdale. First Black doctor is Dr. James Franklin Sistrunk. He co-founded the city's first hospital for Black patients. Remember, during a time of segregation, Black people were not allowed to go to the same hospitals as white people. So they had to have Black-only hospitals, which they founded. They had to make them themselves. So Dr. James Franklin Sistrunk, he was born in 1891 and died in 1966. The first Black doctor in Broward County, co-founded the city's Fort Lauderdale's first hospital for Black patients called Provident Hospital. You know where it sits now? The current YMCA building, the gentrified. That's the word that came to my mind, but then it has a negative connotation as well, but I mean it in a good way. The redesigned, space where there used to stand the first and only Black hospital in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, is now the YMCA building. Well, it was called Provident Hospital, and he helped to co-found. Come on, Sue, what is going on? I gotta sip this green tea, y'all, and give you this Black History Month work. Let's go. Dr. James Franklin Sistrunk, we remember you. First Black doctor, Fort Lauderdale, co-founded the city's first Black hospital, Provident Hospital, in 1938, and delivered over 5,000 babies. Dr. Sistrunk. There's a whole generation of Fort Lauderdale that's still alive that was delivered by this gentleman, that came into this earthly realm through the assistance of this gentleman. 5,000, over 5,000, probably more than that, during his 44-year career. The city's famous Sistrunk Boulevard is named in his honor. Remember Dr. Sistrunk. As a medical pioneer, after facing segregation that prevented him from working with white hospitals, remember who I told you about yesterday, Dr. Von D. Mizell? The people who helped desegregate the beaches of Fort Lauderdale and Miami. Remember, there were Black people that weren't allowed on Miami Beach without a pass. Remember this? Y'all don't remember because they're not teaching you this? Well, even in our immigrant communities, we need to know this, y'all. There are parts of towns Black people by law were not allowed to live in. They were not allowed by law to go on certain parts of the beach until freedom fighters came and said, what is this? Well, Dr. Von D. Mizell, we talked about Eula Johnson and Von D. Mizell. Eula Johnson was the first woman elected as president of the Fort Lauderdale chapter of the NAACP. The current NAACP chapter headquarters is her old house. It's been donated and now is serving as the NAACP headquarters in Fort Lauderdale, and is also a visitors welcome center. But we were talking about them not only now. I'm going to keep doing this beyond February, y'all, but it's important that we call the names of the pioneers who helped us be able to live freely here in the United States of America. Men like Dr. Sistrunk. After facing segregation that prevented him from working with white hospitals, he partnered with Dr. Von D. Mizell to establish Provident Hospital, Fort Lauderdale's first hospital for Black patients, because there was none. You had to have babies at home and all that, or just lose your life because there was no hospital willing to serve you because of the color of your skin. Thank you for pioneers like Dr. Von D. Mizell. Thank you for pioneers like Dr. James Franklin Sistrunk. His impact is still felt today. He provided essential medical care to African Americans, frequently making house calls to those in need. Sistrunk Boulevard, also known as Northwest 6th Street, is named after him, along with the Sistrunk Bridge. He is a graduate of Meharry Medical School, and he was a World War I veteran. We remember you, Dr. Sistrunk, the trailblazer. They're not going to change the name of no streets. He was a pioneer in the civil rights movement for Black people everywhere, not only in South Florida and Fort Lauderdale and Broward County, but for everywhere. Also, since we're talking about Black movements, let's talk about popcorn. Yeah, I can't even do it. Andre Sodalana, one of my favorite Jamaican DJs, my favorite artist, Popcorn. Up another club began again. Y'all love me and my popcorn. Party book like bull book, party up like me. Y'all don't know about that. Y'all, who you doing? You're telling me? The dancehall queen for life. I enjoy popcorn music, but I'm so proud of him. Popcorn, according to the Caribbean National Weekly.com, has been confirmed a traditional title of chief during a ceremony in Ghana. Big up, Papi. Dancehall star Popcorn has been confirmed with a traditional title in Ghana, where he's now been addressed as Nana Okofo Akro Kese, following a ceremony following a ceremonial recognition during a recent visit to the West African nation. This is in Ghana. Go Popcorn! The entertainer shared photos and videos from the event on Instagram, showing moments from when he appeared to be in a traditional ceremony in Ghana's central region. Captioning the post, Popcorn wrote, "Nana is grateful. Love and respect to my people. Together we push. Hashtag Kese. Yes, Papi. Back to the roots." In one clip shared online, a speaker highlighted the significance of the moment and the expectation attached to the role. Now, there's a lot of people doing dual citizenship. There's a lot of people giving, him props for going to Ghana. And again, they don't just give anybody the mark of the chief, if you will, or the respect and the recognition, I should say, as chief. This goes to people who are outstanding in their, just their walk, right? Of course, he has an amazing musical talent, but you got to have something to you. So what did they say to him? So this was one of the leaders and the speakers during some of the videos he shared. You can look it up on Instagram. Big up Popcorn. They said to him, "Nana Okofo Akro Kese, now you have the big responsibility to lead the youth, not only in the central region, but in the whole of Ghana as chief. There are no small seats for a stool." Yes, sir. You make it bigger or you make it smaller. Wow. So now you are chief, duly recognized by our people. So it's up to you to make it smaller or bigger. Congratulations, Nana. Images from the ceremony show the dancehall artist standing before a towering warrior statue and later wrapped in vibrant traditional kente cloth while seated indoors. Other clips captured drumming and cultural performances as members of the community gathered around him. Big up Popcorn. Listen, numbers don't lie. Big up Popcorn. Y'all gotta give respect where respect due. The man got the catalog. Popcorn got some music. You hear me? When I'm in a deep mood, his song, Jah, you keep me firm and strong. Y'all look up Firm and Strong by Popcorn. Very rich music. Real musicians. Big up real music. Anyway, big up Popcorn, the new Ghanaian chief. Listen, we got to still talk about Prince Andrew. I was going to leave it alone. But it's still very big news that for the first time in 400 years, a member of the British royal family. Listen, I was talking to my cousin about it last night, and I was just pondering, before I get to this little news clip, I'm going to play it. Actually, I'm going to play it from Fox Live now. I just thought to myself how much these men, and again, Prince Andrew has always denied any wrongful participation or any kind of indiscriminate participation. He claimed he's all of these people. What's his name? He just testified. Oh my goodness! Now I got only 10 minutes, y'all, but I got to get into the Prince Andrew thing because this is what I thought last night. My thoughts on the matter. I said to myself, God, I was talking to my cousin. She was on the way to the gym. I was leaving the gym. I said to myself, these men thought they had these young girls tricked, but it was Epstein that had them like a puppet on a string. I can imagine. Now, putting yourself in Prince Andrew. Now, I haven't seen every interview with Prince Andrew. I don't see his full explanation. I know they said he did a dastardly interview. That was a commentary I read. In 2019 with the BBC trying to explain what exactly happened and why he would remain friends. And he claimed he had stopped being friends. And then they saw in the emails, in the 3 million emails that just came out, that he had still had contact. There was a crazy email that he wrote talking about we're in this together. I'm paraphrasing, my friend, and we'll play later or something. What? What y'all talk about? Now, even though the investigation and arrest that took place of Prince Andrew yesterday, 8 a.m. on his 66th birthday at Sandringham House, they kicked him out of the royal residence. He's staying at a residence owned directly by, I guess, King Charles, not the royal residence. I guess there's a difference between their personal and the royal, what is owned by, I guess they call it the firm. But anyway, they did not allow him to come in under caution or by himself voluntarily. They went for him early in the morning. Usually, you have to, even in the U.S. system, when you know there's an investigation underway and they might arrest you, your attorney can contact the governmental authorities and say, listen, we'll walk him in. And we can, hold on. After this break, I'm coming back with more.
All new Voice of the Caribbean. Better sounding radio. WLIF HD2 Miami, 101.5 HD2.
So my DJ that comes on after me is running a little bit late because of that accident. So I'm going to talk until she gets here. Because I didn't even get to go to Prince Andrew. I was feeling it, and I want to say how I feel. I'm going to let it play. I'm getting into it, and it's like the time run out. It's crazy. If she comes, I'm going to have to get up. I was watching the time. I guess I was off by a little bit. Anyway, hey, everybody. Happy Friday. It's your girl, Suzette Speaks. I'm here on the radio here in Miami, Voice of the Caribbean. I am done with my show technically, but I think Lisa, who is the DJ that comes on after me, is running late. And if she is, I'm going to talk a little bit about Prince Andrew. But if she comes in, I can see, I'm looking up at, we have a whole camera layout here. And I can see who comes in and when they come in. We have about, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 cameras. So I'm just checking out whether she's coming or not. I still want to get into Prince Andrew. Well, I'm still glad I did the Black History, and I'm glad I did popcorn. But what is this going on? Why is that popping up? All right, I'm gonna play a little bit of I don't know. She says she's late. What's up, everybody? My next DJ might be running late. If she doesn't come in, I'll do it, and when she comes out, I'll do it up. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. I'm just flowing. What's up, everybody? I'm in the mood to chat today. So I'm listening to. I'm gonna skip ahead. I won't. I'm gonna skip her intro. She has a long musical intro. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. What's up, everybody? Hit the like button for me, please. We're talking Hot Topics News, Prince Andrew, a little bit of Black history. Where is Nancy Guthrie? Supreme Court strikes down. All right, we're going for it. I don't see her. Let's see what happens. I don't think she'll be mad. We'll see. I can't play it out loud because I'll get copyright. All right, we're going for it.
Facebook, X, TikTok, and YouTube.
All right, we're keeping it a little bit hotter. And we're back with a little extra overtime with the Suzette Speak show. I was getting into the Prince Andrew issues of today and how it's still top stories. Of course, the biggest story right now is that the Supreme Court has overturned Mr. Trump's economic agenda in terms of the use of tariffs, saying that the president does not have the power to tax imports, that Congress alone was given the power to tax. So we're going to see what the fallout of that looks like. That's the top stories. We've been hearing about tariff ever since Mr. Trump has taken office. And this has been, remember, tariffs are the import tax on goods. But remember, the United States, we import a lot of goods from all across the world that Americans are used to, buying and selling every single day. But when a tariff is imposed, it is not the seller from overseas that ends up paying it. Who pays it? Class, yeah, we do, right? When we buy it, because it costs our importer more, we also end up, well, basically absorbing the cost of the tariff. So it's not hurting the seller country, it's hurting us here. And we've been seeing prices go up and up and up. But according to the Supreme Court, what we've been seeing also is that they have now declared that Mr. Trump is not properly enforcing tariffs. Now, according to the AP, just breaking today from the United States Supreme Court, it's a big deal. The Supreme Court strikes down Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs, upending the central plank of his economic agenda. What does that mean? Well, according to the Associated Press, in an article just written this morning by Ms. Lindsay Whitehurst, the Supreme Court struck down Donald Trump's far-reaching global tariffs today on Friday, handing him a significant loss on an issue critical to his economic agenda. The Supreme Court, which is made up of 9 members, voted 6 to strike it down to 3 who supported it, right? 6-3. The 6-3 decision centers on tariffs imposed under an emergency powers law, including the sweeping so-called reciprocal tariffs that Mr. Trump levied on nearly every other country in the world. In the piece of Donald Trump's broad agenda, it is the first one to come squarely before the nation's highest court. Again, tariffs is a part of what he's been using to help, shape his economic agenda. And this issue of whether Mr. Trump had the right to enforce tariffs the way he has came before the Supreme Court. Now, 3 of the justices on the Supreme Court were appointed by Mr. Trump himself during his first term, not since he's been back, but when he was president for the first 4 years. He appointed 3 of the 9 members who are currently on the Supreme Court. Well, it didn't matter. The majority of the United States Supreme Court has found that it's unconstitutional, not permitted by law, unconstitutional for the President of the United States to unilaterally, as president, set and change tariffs. Why? Because according to the United States Supreme Court, in the ruling just come down, hot off the presses, taxation power clearly belongs to the United States Congress, not the president. Again, the power of the purse, what we call the power to tax, the power to spend, the power to create a budget. The president signs the budget into law, but to create it, where we tax and where our taxpayer money goes and comes, is the purview or under the control of the United States Congress, which is the legislature, which is the House of Representatives and the United States Senate. Those are what we call the lawmakers, the legislative branch. Well, the Supreme Court made it very clear in a ruling that came down today that said that the President of the United States, Donald Trump, that his tariffs were unconstitutional, and it was unconstitutional for the president, according to the Associated Press, to unilaterally set and change tariffs because taxation power clearly belongs to Congress. In his opinion, writing for the majority, the 6 versus the 3, the 6 on the Supreme Court who voted that it was unconstitutional for Trump to be enacting tariffs the way he has. Chief Justice of the Supreme Court John Roberts wrote, the framers did not vest any power of taxing in the executive branch. Once again, according to the opinion that was just handed down, tariffs are unconstitutional by the President of the United States. Once again, according to the Associated Press, the majority of the Supreme Court just made a ruling that it's unconstitutional for the president to unilaterally set and change tariffs because taxation power clearly belongs to Congress. That's the words of John Roberts, writing for the majority in the Supreme Court decision. The majority voted 6-3 that it was unconstitutional for the president to impact the economic policy of the country through tariffs the way Mr. Trump has been exercising it. According to Justice Kavanaugh, quote, the tariffs at issue here may or may not be wise in policy, but as a matter of text, history, and precedent, this is in the minority, he says they are clearly lawful. So there were 3 judges on the Supreme Court who agreed with Mr. Trump's side, saying that he had the right to do this. How did Mr. Trump respond? According to the Associated Press, Trump called the majority decision a quote-unquote disgrace when he was notified during his morning meeting with several governors. According to someone who had direct knowledge of the president's reaction, who spoke to the Associated Press, who spoke to the Associated Press on the condition of anonymity to discuss the private conversation. Trump was meeting privately with nearly 24 governors from both parties when the decision was released this morning. The White House did not immediately respond to a request for comment. The Supreme Court majority did not address whether the companies, now this is the key because a lot of money has been collected, so they're saying that these tariffs are unlawful. What happens to the money that was already collected? The court majority did not address whether the companies could get refunded for the billions they have collectively paid, in tariffs. Many companies, including big box warehouse chains, think about like Costco and some of them, have already lined up in lower courts to demand a refund of the tariffs that they've already paid. I wonder how that's going to go. But the process is likely to be a quote-unquote mess, as was acknowledged at oral argument. Listen, how much money are we talking? The Treasury of the United States has collected since Trump started doing the tariffs and setting these tariffs, now that the Supreme Court is calling them illegal, saying that the executive branch, the President of the United States, is not entitled to set the nature of the tariff, that taxation power has been vested in the legislative branch, Congress, not the executive branch. So what happens to the money that has already been collected? How much are we talking? Well, according to the Associated Press's article, the Treasury has collected more than $133 billion. That's just since the tariff business, where he collected that from us, paying the increased prices. My Lord, $133 billion from the import taxes. Remember, the people who buy it, the imports, end up paying those taxes. We don't know what's going to happen with that money. So $133 billion from the import taxes that the president has imposed under the Emergency Powers Laws Act of December. Where does it go? The impact over the next decade was supposed to be near $3 trillion. The tariff decision doesn't stop Trump from imposing duties under other laws. While those have more limitations on the speed and severity of Trump's actions, top administration officials have said that they expect to keep the tariff framework in place under other authorities. Let's see what happens, y'all. But the Supreme Court, under this particular act, has said President Trump does not have the authority. Now we're going back to Prince and I can't call him Prince. Sorry. The formerly known as Prince Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. Let's see. Former Prince Andrew has been released. What a story. I'm going to play this quick clip from Fox News so you can hear the latest. He was held by the authorities for close to 11 hours of questioning. He was not given notice. He was not given an opportunity to turn himself in. They went for him. Their version of what? The feds? Their police force. And what happened? He was released. Now remember, he's not being charged directly with something to do with the young girls, but he's being accused of, or the charges stem from, I should say, him possibly when he was serving the British government as trade ambassador, giving, this is almost equivalent, I wouldn't say quite equivalent, but comparable to United States laws on insider trading. But if you are a government official anywhere, but under English law as well, British law, he should not have been revealing any type of insider trade secrets to third parties that had no business knowing. Well, he's being accused of possibly sharing some of that information with Jeffrey Epstein. Now, I was telling y'all before the break how I felt about it. Jeffrey Epstein. They, you know, when they say tricks are for kids, they thought that, or had these men believing that they themselves were running some sort of racket, some sort of game, control, manipulation, power over the children. But it was in fact Mr. Epstein that had them, these men, these so-called powerful men who never really saw themselves as being in the spider's web, but they themselves were in the web. You think you're tricking kids, he's tricking you. He had them fooled. I just think about at the position of being the little brother of the future king. How much power, how much influence, people always telling you yes. And you're probably, you know, and again, I'm not trying to, I can't tell you what was inside of Prince Andrew's mind. He has always denied any wrongdoing. I think there was a settlement with the young lady who took her life, Virginia Dufresne, but her family, shout out to her family. Let's get the latest from Fox before I turn it over to Miss Lisa B. Let's see, can we hear this? Go ahead.
Prince Andrew from custody. This, of course, the same day he was arrested. Andrew was arrested today on suspicion of misconduct while in public office. We were able to see all of that unfold as well, and we have images there from, I want to put this up on your screen, from the moment that we saw that Prince Andrew was released from custody. This was fed to us just a second or two ago by playback. And as you can see, we're seeing as the gates are now opening and the former Prince Andrew will be exiting. And so we were able to speak with several of our folks overseas there, including Josh Rahm and Stephanie Bennett with Fox News, about this arrest that has really been heard all around the world. The former Prince Andrew, who's now considered to be just Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, was arrested today, suspected of misconduct in public office. This is after revelations that were revealed in the Epstein files. King Charles III's younger brother was arrested today on his 66th birthday, just about 2 weeks after this anti-royal organization called for police to investigate documents indicating that Andrew shared confidential government information with Jeffrey Epstein while the royal worked as the British trade envoy. And so what you're seeing there on the screen once again is these images that have just been fed back to us here from London as we're watching for the first time, seeing this host of cars drive out of the gates as Andrew Mountbatten has been released from custody.
That's according to Fox News. This was him coming out of an 11-hour interrogation. Driving. First of all, if you saw his face in the back seat of that Jeep, man, the crouched down, sir, the eyes looking very dazed, almost like you couldn't believe you're going through something. The emails exchanged between Mr. Mountbatten Windsor, the former Prince Andrew, and Jeffrey Epstein's. I mean, they have such double entendres, meanings that you wonder what the inside joke and the inside discussion was. But he remained friends, even though in a 2019 interview with the BBC, Prince Andrew claimed to have cut off, I think, ties with him. And it has now come to light in the Epstein files that the relationship between the two have gone on. Listen, we got to go. I got to make way for Lisa B, but I wanted to tell you, as we discuss these items, I know it can be hard to listen to sometimes, but we do have to keep one eye open for real, right? Stay informed without staying or being inundated is very important. So I try to touch on as much as I can. One thing I do on a positive note want to leave you with is that I am having a wonderful Women's style. We're not even calling it a retreat, but a meetup on the beach, y'all. I got 2 ladies from Fort Lauderdale who are joining me. So we're going to be meeting up on Fort Lauderdale Beach to do a women's empowerment workshop. I want to invite you. It's free. You can find the information on Eventbrite. You can look up RISE, RISE. RISE stands for Restore, Inspire, Serve, and Empower. We're going to be on the beach at this free event. Not this Friday, not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow. That'll be, week from Saturday, February 28th. There you go, Sue. It's time for me to get out of here, y'all. From 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., we're going to be inspiring. We're going to be encouraging. We're going to be uplifting you. And so get ready for some soul care and some sisterhood. Make sure you get your tickets now. You can look it up on my pages. Follow me, Suzette Speaks 1Z, 2 T's. You can also follow Voice of the Caribbean. You can find us there. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate Ms. Lisa B allowing me to do a little bit of OT. And I hope you have learned something. I know there's a lot of news and it can be overwhelming at times. But we try to break it down for you here so you can still stay informed and make informed decisions. Shout out to Popcorn becoming a tribal chief or chief in Ghana. Again, Black History Month. I hope you will remember our ancestors, Dr. Sistrunk, as well as Dr. Francis, and their wonderful contributions to this society that we have today. Follow me again, Suzette Speaks, SUZ, 1Z, 2 T's, Speaks with an S. It's been a pleasure to do it for you. All right, have a great weekend. Up next is none other than Miss Lisa B. Keep it locked.
Is the all-new Voice of the Caribbean. Better sounding radio. WLYF HD2 Miami, 101.5 HD2.
The City of Lauderdale, the Voice of the Caribbean.